need to monitor the system. Monitor means what? You have to take care of the system, right? So when you are monitoring your system, the system resources you have to monitor. This SAP system, not only SAP is an application, right? To install this application, you need the support of operating system. You need a database to store your business data, right? So when you are doing administration, if you want to run your system very smoothly, all these three areas, your application, your operating system, your database, and from presentation layer, from application level, from the database level, everything should be perfectly all right. Then only your system will work properly. Otherwise, no. So you have to, when you are doing administration, when you are doing the monitoring of your system, you have to take care of these many things: operating system side, database side, and application side. So we have some T codes which will give you information related to application. When it comes to application related activities are there, right? Like background job, you do RFCs, you do some locking traces there, update record sheet there. You have to take care of all these things. And when it comes to operating system level analysis, CPU utilization, OS utilization, LAN utilization, everything, and file system utilization. From when it comes to database, what about your database backup status and your space statistics, everything you have to check. For all these things, you have few T codes in daily monitoring. Now we'll discuss about application side. Application side means SM50. First T code you have to look at SM51. Yesterday we discussed this, right? SM51. Tomorrow I'll show you the original server. If possible, I'm trying to show you the original server, which is having more than 3000 users and 5 application servers with them. I'll show you that tomorrow. I'll try to connect with that system when I'm explaining yesterday's class, tomorrow's class, right? So as of now, in our system, we are having only one application server. So it is showing only one application server to you. So that is active. For example, your production system is having 5 application servers. When your production system is having 5 application server means, why you install 5 application servers? To distribute the load, right? If you are having 500 users, you will give one application server to 100 users. So all that 5 application servers need to be active state. So SM51, what you observe, whether that how many application servers are there, whether all the application servers are active or not. It will tell you the host name and what are the processes that application server has. So the application server status you can get, and the host name you will get, and the instance numbers you will get, and the SID you will get from SM51 screen. For example, I am having 5 application servers. Okay, all 5 application servers are active. Okay, fine. This is fine from SM51. My all application servers are fine. And this work process, this tab will show you, for example, if I select this application server and if I select this one, it will show you the work process of that particular application server. Right? How many application servers I am having? 19 applications, 19 work processes. So whether all the work processes are in waiting condition, running condition, or ended, whatever the status. The next T code we'll discuss about these statuses. Now, if I click on second application server and I click here, it will show you the work process of that particular application server. So from SM51, you can see the application server overview. And here, the logon users, 5 application servers, how many users logged in? If I select this application server and I select on this, so that will show you how many users are logged in on that particular application server. So each and every application server will have different users and how much memory they are utilizing. Okay, which user ID, from which client they logged in, everything it will show from SM51. So you can check application server status, host name, instance number, SID, and the number of connected users for each and every application server by using SM51. Along with that, all the work process status. And here we will be having one thing called release notes. If you click here, you can check the kernel version of your SAP system. Whether it is, what is kernel version, whether it is a and what is the patch level of that kernel, whether it is a Unicode kernel or non-Unicode kernel, everything you can see by using SM51. SM51 is the very important T code in your daily monitoring. As a administrator, first of all, your all servers should be up and running, right? If your servers are not up and running, you have to immediately take action according to that. How you take action, we'll discuss later. So first thing, SM51, when you are monitoring your system, first of all, hit SM. When you enter into the office, when you start the monitoring, first of all, you need to hit SM51 to check whether all your application servers are up and running or not. Everything should be active, green state. Okay, fine. My all application servers are active. Then SM50, local work process overview. The instance which you logged in that instance, what are the work process are there and what is the status of that work process. If all the work process are running state, it won't give you login also. So few work process should be in waiting condition and few will be in running condition. Running, waiting, no problem. But if the work process is on hold or ended, then you have to take action. Okay, for example, I am having 19 work processes. Out of 19 work process, everything is in waiting condition, only one is running. If it is running condition, if it is in running condition, check from how much time it is running, which user is running, SAP star user from which client. You will get all the things, which table he is, which program he is executing, okay, what is the status of the work process and the number of work process and the type of work process and the CPU utilization, RAM utilization, the work process state, everything, the client, the user ID and the application server, everything you can get from SM50 screen. If only one is running, everything is waiting, means your system performance is good. If this is running for so long time, what will you do? If the work process goes into private mode, what will you do? I'll explain you what is private mode. As of now, first SM50, we'll see the work process overview. If you hit SM66, it is also work process overview only, but it is a global work process overview. SM50 is a local work process overview. SM66 is a global work process overview. What is the difference? The same screen. But in SM66, it will show you all the work process of all that 5 application servers. How many application servers we have in this system? According to our example, 5 application servers. So all 5 application servers work process it will show. So you can hit SM66 and you can access all the work process status in a short. If you hit SM50, only this instance, which instance you logged in, which instance you are logged in, application server India, only this instance work process it will show you. If you see active work process only, the work process which are only running, so generally SM66 it will show you all the work process. If you say active work process from all 5 application servers, it will show, go to all active work process. If you want to see all work process, say all work process, active. So see all work process. Okay, everything is waiting, few are running. Okay, what are running? Just click here. It will show only running work process. From how much time it is running. Okay, which client, which user, which tables are being executed, which programs are being executed, from how much time it is running, everything you can check by using SM66. So SM50 is local work process overview, SM66 is global work process overview, SM51 for application server overview. Okay, for example, if you want to kill one work process is in private mode. The status, work process status is private mode. Private mode is what? If you know memory management concept, we are having some memory areas, role memory, extended memory, heap memory. So first the work process will use role memory, then extended memory, then private memory. After that memory, you don't have any other memory to use by that work process. So it will go to private memory. If the work process, whenever work process goes into private memory, 3 things will happen. The transaction has to be finished. Otherwise it will be cancelled or it will go into the loop. So this, if this work process goes into private mode, what you do, just you have to kill that work process, cancel that work process, select that work process and say administration work process cancel with core, without core. With core means it will give you the log, what it is doing, everything. Without core means no information will be created. With core means where the information will be created, in the work process directory, the second work process, right? Dev underscore W2. What is the work process directory? USR, SAP, SID, instance name, work. Under that you will be having all the developer trace files, right? Dev underscore W0, dev underscore W1, dev underscore W2, dev underscore MSG, dev underscore disp, all the files. Did you remember that location? Anyone? Work process directory. There you will get the log. The interviewer will ask you, cancel with core, without core. With core means it will give you the log in your work directory dev underscore W2. If you kill this work process, dev underscore W5. If you kill this, dev underscore W7 work process ID will have the log. I'll show you one. The work directory USR, SAP, SID, instance name. Under that you will be having work directory dev underscore W0. Dev underscore W2 I am killing, right? Dev underscore W2. This. Here you will get a log. They will ask you an interview. If you say with core, where you will get the log? In that work process, work directory, you will get the log. Without core means no. If you know already the error, so you can kill without core. And also you can say this work process restart after error. Yes. So it will kill that work process and it will restart. So this work process again comes into waiting condition and it will be used by other work. You can do these things by using SM50. By looking at SM66 and SM50, you can tell the status of your system if you are good in SAP. Remember that. If you want to do any R&D, do on SM50. So what is this? Number, work process. Every work process will have a number, work process type. Every work process will have a process ID at OS level. And work process status. What are the status of work process? Waiting, running, on hold, ended, cancelled, check. What is the meaning of on hold? Locked, work process locked means what? CPU time is what? Time. What time it is showing? What is the priority in SM50? Name of the program. What is this? Executed by work process. Okay, client. Which client he logged in? Which user is logged in? Everything you can get from SM50 screen. You can do R&D for 1 year on SM50. If you want to know detailed analysis of this work process, just double click on that. It will take you to other page. Each and every work process you can see the memory statistics of that particular work process, database level what it is doing, runtime information, work process distribution information, everything. The about 7th work process. If you click on second work process, double click, it will take you to that work process information. Memory, how much memory it is taking, everything, what database it is using, a database what action it is doing, whether it is inserting, updating, deleting, what it is doing, is it doing the sequential read or a direct read, whatever, whether this work process is committing any commit statement, everything you can do analysis by using SM50. If you are good at SAP, just try to explain about SM50 for half an hour. Challenge, take this as a challenge. For at least 10 to 15 minutes, should talk about SM50 if you are good at SAP. The next most important take code is SM12, lock entries. What is this lock? You know, there is a one work process which is responsible for lockings at application level. What is that? NQ work process. What this NQ will do, no two users can do same transaction at a time. For example, one table is there, one object is there, both the users are trying to change that. NQ won't allow you to do this thing. First, the user, whoever goes into edit mode, for that user, it will give read and write authorization. The second user, it will give only read authorization. So NQ will prevent a deadlock scenario. What is deadlock scenario? So if there is no NQ, I am trying to change and you are trying to change. Both won't get confirmation. So NQ is very, very important in your online business. Whenever you do red bus or book my show, IRCTC ticketing, na, so how it is uh, giving confirmation to you guys? When you select one seat, till you submit your OK button, you give your bank details, OTP, everything, this NQ will lock that particular seat for you. If your transaction gets successful, it will be booked. Otherwise, it will release a lock. So how this NQ is logging, what this NQ, how many locks this NQ is doing, everything you can check in SM12. Remember, this SM12 and SM13, there is another T code called SM13, that is for updates. Updates are failing means, for example, you are trying to update one table, but that update is failing continuously. That means whether that table has a lock on that. Some other user in edit mode and he left, you are trying to update that table again and again, it is failing means, first of all, if your updates are failing means maybe that table got some lock entry. That is the reason that table is not accepting any new updates on that table. So there is an interrelationship between your SM12 and SM13. If you are getting locks on SM12 means, first check whether your update is active or inactive. How to check whether your update is active or inactive? SM13. In the initial screen of SM13, first of all, you should look at update status. Your update is active. If your update is inactive, what happens? Nothing will be updated. That table is locked. So if your update is not active, then also problem. If your update is active but the table got some locks on that, it is not allowing you to change that, then also you will get lock entries. We will check all the lock entries in SM12. The initial screen of SM12, don't give anything, remove all these things. Only it will check from 000 client and SAP star user. No, I want entire system's locks. So empty all the things and say list. It will show you is there any locks are there in your system. Do I have any locks on this system? How this NQ will lock something, I'll show you. For example, I'm going with SSC4. Some user is doing some SSC4 kind of thing. What is SSC4? Client. So now I'm going into edit mode, change. Okay, that means this table got locked, T000. Client resides in which table? I told you, T000 table. So I am in edit mode now, right? Now check SM12. Remove all the things, whether you got some lock or not on that. It will show you. See, you got one lock. Which user? 000 client, SAP star user. Which table? T000 table belongs to whom? Client entries. Now I left that screen without log off. I moved out of my desktop. So this will be permanently locked. Or else I got some power issue. I lost power my end. So that lock will be there. If these kind of locks are there, if the lock is more than 24 hours old, that depends upon organization to organization. Most of the cases, they look for 24 hours old locks or 48 hours old locks. If you are having locks more than 24 hours or 48 hours, you have to delete that lock. Simple, select that log and say delete. Before deleting, first check whether that user is active or inactive, whether that user is active. Which user is having that lock? SAP star user. How to know whether that user is active or inactive? For that, just go to SM04 T code. There is another T code which will give you active users. SM04. Yes, this user is still logged in. So you should not delete immediately. For example, some other user is logged in. That lock is belongs to some other user. Some other user is logged in. Now go to that user's information SU01 and give SAP star or Samad. Okay, say display. It will give you all the information of Samad, the phone number, email ID, everything. From SU01, get Samad's details. Okay, log on data, personal data, everything you will be having. Address, here you will be having phone number, everything in this. So contact that user. What you are doing actually? You are having log from the past 24 hours and you are still active. What you are doing? If it is not important, please try to, for example, he is running some long report which is making so many logs on your different tables. So ask him to schedule this kind of jobs in non-peak hours. Please, I am removing you, and inform him and log off his session. How you log off his session? SM04 and select this and say user log off user. Finish. If this user is not logged in, SAP star user is not logged in, simply you can remove the log without asking anyone. That user is not there. Simple. Go and select that and say delete. Delete that log. If the user is logged in, delete log entry. Yes. Finish. Now it will be available for others. If the user is logged in, how to check that the user is logged in? Log SM04. Okay, then log of the connect with that user by using SU0. So overallly, first of all, you have to check SM12 for the log entries. For the initial screen, remove all these entries. So it will show entire system's logs. Then go to list. Okay, you go find some logs which are the time, date and time will be there, which are more than 24 hours. Okay, which user is having that log more than 24 hours? If there is logs which are less than 24 hours, don't do anything. Right? Oh, current running transactions also will have some logs. So don't delete all the logs, whatever you find in SM12. Only the logs which are more than 24 hours. Select that log. First check whether that user is online or offline. Go to SM04 and check whether that user is online or offline. That user is not there. Some other user is not there, but that log is belongs to some other user. Then directly delete that log. If the some other user is login active, then go to SU01, get some other details and talk with that Samad and then remove that log. This is what your SM12. And there should be no more than 800 log entries at a time. This is also one condition. So overallly, this locking mechanism, you should not have more than 24 hours log there. If you are having log more than 24 hours, first check whether that user is online or offline. If that user is offline, then immediately delete that log. If that user is online, get that user's details by using SU01 and talk with that user and suggest that user and then delete that log. Why you have to delete that logs? For example, these log, if you are having some logs for some important tables, no other user can access that table during the business hours. It may interrupt your business services, right? So these logs are not healthy for your business. So you should not have logs more than 24 hours. So you have to delete that log. This is about your SM12. Is it fine with everyone? How much time left? 3 minutes. Can you please relog in? Everybody fine with SM12? The next T code is SM13. SM13 update records. So there should be no updates cancelled or pending or in processing. No more than 10 updates should be pending or in processing. Update means what? For example, some 10 users are trying to book some 10 different things on Amazon. So no one's order is getting placed. That means what? Your update is inactive. First thing you have to check whether your update is active or inactive. The only work process which can do read and write authorization in your database. Yes, creation of a new order is nothing but some change in your database. If your update is active, then only your order will be placed. First of all, you have to check if you're, for example, just give star and say cancelled updates to be updated, V1 executed, V1 updates, V1 means critical, V2 means non-critical. It will show you all. If you want to check all, give star and star, all the clients, all the users, and say execute. No updates are pending, no updates are cancelled, no updates are in processing. Everything is fine. If there should be no more than 10 updates pending or in processing. Pending means yet to be updated. Processing means that is also yet to be updated. So if the updates are cancelled, if the updates are getting cancelled on the same table, same T code, same by using same user, if you are having multiple entries of updates with the same user, same client and same T codes, then you have to look into the problem. So update is failing means, for example, if you are having some lock on that, then immediately go to SM12 whether that T code is having some lock or not, whether that user is getting some locks or not. That you have to check that. If you are having any lock entries there, then automatically your updates will fail. And along with that SM12, there is another T code SM21, system log. You will get everything here. If your updates are failing, cancelling, you will get that log in that SM21 system. Whatever you do in the system, the log will be generated. That log you can see in SM21 screen. If it is in red, very high priority. If it is in orange, high priority. If it is in green, no problems. You will be having green, orange, red, everything. So you have to take care of that. You have to read that lock entry deleted manually or stable. Actually, this lock entry is what happened? This lock entry, who will do lock entries? NQ. Who will lock, who will unlock? NQ itself will lock and unlock automatically. You don't need to do manually. But what happens here? Lock entry deleted manually means something has happened. So just go to that. It will give you all the details. SM12, SAP star user and RS table, T000, everything. Who deleted this log, why, when, everything. It will give you the information. The date and time, everything. You will get the information. You have to take action according to that. So automatically, this lock entries will be taken care automatically by NQ. NQ will lock, NQ will unlock automatically. But here what I have done, manually I have deleted that lock entry. That is the reason it is noted. So you will get lock entry here, and you have to check in other T code. ST22 is another T code above dumps. Is there any programmatical error? Or so today, did you get any errors today? Check that. Runtime errors. What is this? I'll explain you. So you have to check in SM12. If the updates are failing, you have to check in SM12 for the lock entries. You have to check some information in SM21, SM50 what it is doing, and ST22. Everywhere you have to check when your updates are getting failed. So there should be no more than 10 updates pending or in processing, and there should be no updates cancelled. First of all, what you check in SM13? Whether your update is active or inactive. If this update is inactive, then simply go to administration and say active. Now it is deactivated. Now say active. If it is active, fine. If it is deactivated, simply say activated. This is SM14 T code actually, SM14, but you can do from SM13 also. In SM13 also it will route you to SM14 only. SM13, if you say update is active, if it is inactive, go to administration. It will take you to SM14 screen. Show you. It will take you to SM14 screen. See. So first of all, you have to check for your update whether your update is active or inactive in SM13. Then there should be no updates cancelled. If there are updates cancelled means are impending or impending processing, okay. But if you are having cancelled updates, you have to troubleshoot. If you are having more than 10 pending updates or in processing updates, that means something is fishy there. You have to look into your SM21 log, system log, SM12 log entries, everything, and you have to troubleshoot according to that. And you can get the time also. From that time, for example, from 10th month, if you have any log updates pending or field, no. Same, these SM12, SM20, everything you can check by date also. Today, from the past 10 days, past 1 month, past 1 year, you can check anything. This is about your updates. In your material, on the page number 91, I think, daily monitoring T codes are there. I explained all these things there. Please go through that. If possible, mug up. Tomorrow I'll ask everyone. All these 18 to 19 people are there now. I'll ask everyone regarding their daily monitoring. So SM50, SM51, SM12 and SM13. Everything I'll ask you. You have to tell each and every T code. The next T code, ST06. It will take you to operating systems resource information. So SAP level, you checked logs, updates, log entries, okay, work process overview, application server overview. Now comes to operating system level. So your SAP is installed on the operating system. No? So operating system resources. What are the resources of operating system? Your CPU, processor, your memory, RAM, your hard disk, LAN, network connection, and the file system. These are the resources of operating system. You have to check all these resources. This is your CPU utilization. If you check, okay, if you go here, memory, disk, LAN, and the file system, everything you can check. What you check in this? First thing, CPU utilization. In CPU utilization, you have to check this. What is your CPU? System utilization, user utilization, and idle. These three are important. System means operating system. How much CPU operating system is utilizing, it will tell. And user utilization means your SAP and your database. SAP and database utilization. And idle means not being utilized by anyone. No SAP not using, database is not using, and your operating system also not using. Simply it is in idle state. And your CPU utilization should be idle for more than 90%. That means your system performance is good. If your system is idle for only for 30 to 40% means this operating system, this SAP and database is utilizing more CPU resources. So more burden on your CPU. So it should be idle more than 90%. System CPU utilization system means being utilized by operating system. Operating system means your OS, Windows operating system, and the applications which installed on that operating. For example, your antivirus is running. You are running some third-party tools, screensavers, whatever related to your operating system and other applications. Being utilized by user means especially for your SAP and your database. So if being utilized by system is more, that means your operating system is eating more CPU resources and your other applications. User utilization is more means your SAP, your work processes, your message server, gateway, your dispatcher, dialog, and your database process, Oracle process are utilizing more. If idle is more means not being consumed by anyone. So what should be your CPU utilization? Idle should be more than 90% time. That is good health of the system. Is it fine with everyone? Did you got the point? So nobody is utilizing that CPU. CPU resources are free for 97% of the time. That means excellent. Number of CPUs, 2. Dual core means, this means dual core CPU. Being utilized, system means being utilized by operating system. User utilization means being utilized by your SAP and your database, whatever your database, HANA, Oracle, SQL, whatever database, both. Idle means not being consumed by anyone, not being utilized by anyone. That is about your CPU utilization. And it should be idle for more than 97%. When it comes to memory, the second part, CPU finished, then memory. Yes.
So what we have to do if it is more, less than 20%?
Less than 90%. Right. I'll come.
20.
Okay. Less than
20.
It should be more than 90%. I am saying.
No. If it is 20%, less than 20, what we have to do?
Okay. If it is, then go to top 40 CPU processes here. Top 40 CPU processes. Just refresh this page once. This is a snapshot actually. Okay. Just refresh for 1 or 2 times. Don't take first screen. Just refresh. I'm refreshing. Okay. Still the values are same. For example, if the values are same, then you have to troubleshoot. Now see, what is your CPU utilization? Idle 99%. Okay, it will give you a snapshot for each and every interval of 60 seconds. So refresh for 2 to 3 times, then take that values. If the idle percentage is only 20 is there, it is the worst condition, then go to your top CPU processors. Which processors are using more CPU memory? It will show you. Double click on that. See. Now CPU percentage, it will show you which service are taking so much memory. So if SAP service Dave ADM, SAP service Dave ADM, that means these are all SAP services. Network means this is being utilized by system. This is being utilized by Oracle means Oracle process is utilizing this. These are displace work means SAP process. So most by displace work.exe in this scenario. What is that process ID? Look at that 1916. Remember that and go to SM50. What is that? 1916. Check that 1916 what it is doing. See, the only work process which are running now, the logged in work process which I am logged in, only that work process taking so much CPU utilization. Then troubleshoot what it is doing, which user, SAP star user, which client, which program he is running, from which, how much time it is running, what is the status of that work process, and which table it is executing. Everything you can troubleshooting from here. Double click on that and go and do the troubleshooting here. That's how you have to look at that process which is consuming more CPU resources utilization. Go to ST06. If your CPU utilization is idle for only for less than 90%, then you have to troubleshoot that. Go to top 40 CPU process. If Oracle process is taking so much memory, then there is another T code. If SAP process is having so much memory, then SM50. If Oracle process is having so much memory, then SM04. SM04, which process, what it is doing, everything you can troubleshoot by, sorry, not SM04, ST04. ST04, database highest SQL statement, database level performance, what it is doing, which, see, system landscape, performance overview. Now you won't understand this. That is the reason I am not explaining this. So you can do troubleshooting if the database process means, if the database process and SAP process means being utilized by what? ST06. So this is idle for only for 70% idle means definitely you should have utilization at system utilization or user utilization. Directly you can tell if the user utilization is more, that is because of SAP and your database. If the system utilization is more, that is because of your operating system. For example, someone is running some screensaver, a moving screensaver, fish tank is there, aquarium type of screensaver. Definitely these screensavers and your mobiles also, if you are having some graphical theme, it will consume more memory, more CPU, more RAM. Did you know that? Most of the people will have that kind of screensavers on their screens, mobile screens, and they are complaining my battery is not working well because your that screensaver is eating up your resources of your mobile. So for example, if your CPU utilization is more, for system utilization you have to check which process it is taking. System means you can get from control alt delete, task manager, it will tell you which process is taking so much memory, so much CPU utilization, kill that process. Now VMware is working more, Zoom meeting is taking more CPU utilization, then kill this process. If it is very important, run it. If it is not that much important, this third party application on my SAP, Zoom is running, so it is not important for my SAP now, so I can kill that, so that my system's idle percentage will be more. If SAP process more taking more, then you have to troubleshoot by using SM50 and SM04. Database process ST04, SAP process SM50. Operating system level, go to task manager and kill that whatever the process, whatever the application it is eating up more CPU memory, so that you can do this idle time more of your CPU. I hope you got it.
Yes.
Now, physical memory. What is your physical memory? Means your RAM, 12 GB. My RAM is, I have given 12 GB RAM for this. And you should check for the swap space. You know what is swap space? We configured at the time of installation virtual memory. We configured virtual memory 3 times to the RAM. I told you for the newer installations, the virtual memory should be 20 GB. At the time of 4.7, it should be 3 times to the RAM. But now the default value for virtual memory is 20 GB. Check whether you configured proper virtual memory at 20 GB. 20 GB plus this 12 GB. Overall 32 GB of memory you are having now. So if your SAP system, so if whenever you run the transaction or anything, if this virtual memory plus your physical memory is not sufficient to that, then it will immediately terminate the programs. It will even cause for your operating system loss also, failure also. So you should configure this swap memory carefully, at least to 20 GB. You should check whether these two are okay. 12 GB, okay, 20 GB. If this 32 GB is not sufficient, means gone. So you have to configure this virtual memory properly. Swap space. And you should not have this page ins and page outs. What is swap ins and swap outs? I told you, right? If the RAM memory is not sufficient, what it will do? It will swap out the things from the RAM to hard disk. From the hard disk, it will load. This is swap ins and swap outs. If you're having more page ins and page outs, means your memory is not configured properly. You should think about increasing your memory, or you should think about tuning your memory parameters. So it should, your page ins and page outs should be 0. This is about your memory. I'll tell you. In ST02, I'll explain you about this memory. Then disk utilization. What is my disk utilization? 0%. That means what? Whatever the information I am searching, I am getting everything from the RAM. If disk utilization is more than 50%, that means if I ask 100 questions to my system, it is giving answers from hard disk for the 50 times, from the RAM for the 50 times. What the system will do, if you search for one thing, where it will check first? It will check in L1 cache, L2 cache, L3 cache, then in RAM. If you get the information from the RAM, that is hit. If you are not getting the information from the RAM, it has to look into the hard disk and it has to search from the hard disk, then pick that item from the hard disk and load into the RAM, then it will give you the report. So all these time is the extra time. So obviously your transaction will run for more time to get the result. That means disk utilization is happening here. You are not getting the information from the RAM. Every time whatever I am asking, this, if the RAM size is only 1 GB, then what happens? It can only hold 1 GB of data. In this 1 GB, it is utilized by your operating system, database and SAP. How much memory you can give for SAP? So obviously whatever the screen from SAP you want, you will get from the hard disk only, not from RAM. Then what happens? Obviously your disk utilization will be more. When your disk utilization is more, performance will be drastically decreases. That is the reason you should have good physical memory, RAM and the virtual memory. If you configure this RAM and the virtual memory, what happens? Disk utilization will be less. If the disk utilization is more, means you should think about increasing your physical RAM and the swap space. That's it, simple. Is it fine? Now my disk utilization is 0%, means I have excellent physical memory and virtual memory configured. For everything, it is picking from the RAM only. It is not going to hard disk to get the information. So your disk utilization should be less than 50%. Remember that. If it is 60% your disk utilization, means every time it is going to hard disk to get the data. Obviously your swaps will be more. From the hard disk to RAM, RAM to hard disk, it is swapping out, swapping in, swapping out, swapping in. Obviously your swaps will be more, your disk utilization will be more. If your disk utilization will be more, means obviously your swap will be more. According to that, you have to take care, tune the parameters. Sometimes what happens, your disk these days, previously you used to get hard disk drives, now you are getting SSDs. What is the usage of SSD? Speed of the disk. Solid state drives, speed of the disk. So try to use SSDs. If your utilization is more, try to change that HDD to SSD. So that will solve some problem. And try to increase your physical memory. Try to increase your swap memory. Then LAN, network. So we have seen about CPU, about memory and the disk. The remaining is LAN. What is LAN? Means your system's performance, your network connectivity. How to check? Go to this presentation server, application server and database server. Go to presentation server and check that and give 10 pings. Do you have any network disturbance at the presentation level? If you have any data packets loss, it will give you the ping to presentation server. Any data loss? No, fine. Go to application now. At application level side, do you have any problem with from application? Give 10 pings or 1 ping. Do you have any data loss? Check. If everything is 0, then yes, you have good network connectivity. See, it is pinging to your server, so no loss is there. It try to connect for 10 times. Every time it is connecting successfully within 1 millisecond. Within 1 millisecond, it is connecting to this server IP. So no problem from application server. Same check for database also. So no problems at my network end. Okay, fine. If you are having any data losses, then contact your infra team, network team to solve the issue. And file system utilization. Go to file system. What is the free percentage used and free space? You should have free space in all the disks. Okay, everything is having some free space. Okay, fine. Is there anyone changed any parameters at operating system level? You can check from here also. Parameter changes. Did anyone change parameters recently? It will show you. That is causing this bottlenecks, memory performance at OS level. Because of OS level parameters change, the system is giving some performance issues. It will show you the latest modified parameters list. Then try to rechange that parameters to the old values and try that. This is about your SM60, ST06 operating system performance analysis. So it will give you the information about your operating system resources like your CPU utilization, RAM utilization, disk utilization, LAN utilization, network utilization, file system utilization, and parameters and file system, everything. In CPU, what you check? Being utilized by user, system, and idle. Your CPU utilization should be idle for more than 90% time. More than 90% time. Okay. And your check your memory, physical memory, and the swap memory. Swap memory should be 20 GB. Yes, 20 GB configured, and physical memory is fine. Is there any page ins and page outs? Page in or from page out from RAM? No. Okay, fine. Then disk utilization, it should be less than 50%. Okay. Then LAN, check by ping. Then file system utilization, you should have a free space there. See? And parameter changes, everything. If your CPU utilization is more, then go to top CPU utilization. Which process is taking so much memory? Whether it is a SAP process, or if it is a SAP process, go to SM50. If it is a database process, ST04. If it is OS operating system related, go to task manager and kill that process which is not that much important. Is that screensaver is mandatory for you? No. Try to reschedule later. Right now it is eating so much CPU memory. When the load is not there, non-business hours, run that, whatever you run. If you are running some antivirus, that is eating up so much memory, CPU, then stop that. If you are running some third-party backup tool, that tool is taking so much CPU, don't do that. That is the reason we do backups in the nights, non-business hours. During business hours, your system performance should be good. Your system should be idle for more than 90%. Then only I can say you configured good hardware. Is that fine with ST06?
Yeah. So when we have to check this ST06?
Daily. The name itself says daily monitoring. Daily you have to check.
So
These are all T codes. You have to check daily. All the projects will have a monitoring team. They should monitor that system continuously, all the shift, not only daily ones. If you are having 3 shifts, in 3 shifts, when you log in into the shift, first of all, you have to do daily monitoring. You have to check whether your backup is successful or not, whether all the application servers are working fine or not, what is your CPU utilization, RAM utilization, disk utilization, and database utilization, and log entries, update records, failed updates, cancelled background jobs, everything you have to check. System logs, any above dumps are there. Yeah?
For every 1 hour, 2 hours like that, you have to check this.
That depends. That depends upon client to client. If some client is saying for every 2 hours you have to do daily monitoring, so they will have a separate team for each and every 2 hours. They'll update. They will give you some Excel sheet. In that Excel sheet, you have to update what is CPU utilization now, what percentage of time it is idle. Okay, fine. If it is some wrong thing, then you have to update that in that Excel sheet. If everything is fine, say SM50, okay, everything is okay. SM51, all the applications are up, and tomorrow I'll show you that Excel sheet also.
Sure. Thank you.
Chalo, that's it for the day.